one of our top students, if you want to say. He's been with NASA now for about 3 years. I wanted to at least get you guys to the perspective from a student's standpoint. We'll ask you a few very simple questions. Stephen, welcome. Tell us a little bit. Now I know you've been with us now almost 3 years. You said that, right?
Yes.
So what made you pick NASA as opposed to any other group?
Well, Jimmy, I did a lot of research before I decided to pick a sanction that I wanted to start with. NASA was pretty much everywhere where I did good searches on forums and whatnot, and it seemed the best in terms of how to progress with HPDE, and it's the only way to roll.
Okay, so basically the HPD or the High Performance Driver Education Program is something that helped you to go up that ladder. I know we did a checkout ride. You moved up to 3 today, right?
Indeed.
And I will tell you guys that this is one of the most impressive, talented young men and I've been doing this for a long time. That's been in the driver's seat, and I think he's going to have a pretty decent future here. But if he decides to race, but for right now, that car there is going to be moving up the ladder slowly. Tell us a little bit about what's the finer points that you like when you're out in the track. I mean, what is that you like about this sort of a sport? Coming out here, when you go back and you tell your family and friends, man, I just had a great weekend. I did this, I did that. Tell us a little bit about it. I mean,
Well, most people say that there's no return investment on cars, and whether you build it to whatever standard, that's mostly true as far as financially, but there's nothing like the true reward of progressing and just becoming a better driver. Outdriving your car, you tune your car outdrives you, outdrive your car, and you just keep going all the way up until you've reached your goal, and the goal and that reward is just extraordinary.
Okay, fantastic. So if somebody wants to come out here, guys, you can be just like Steven here and just progress through the ladder. And like I said, if you got, I mean, he's having a blast out here. It's a lot of fun. It's very safe. I think you'll agree that safety is paramount out here. Nobody wants to get hurt. We want to take our cars back the same way we brought them here. That is the best thing about doing this sort of a sport. Now, Steven decided to build this car. It's got a cage in it because he's concerned about safety. This is a pretty fast car. He's a pretty fast driver. So, but again, understand you don't have to do that. You can bring your street car and you can go ahead and start with the program and then move up the ladder. Then maybe you can change your mind down the road, or do whatever you want to do. You go time trials, you go racing, or what have you. Now, most people when they interview somebody, they don't say anything. Don't ask this question because it's a loaded question. Okay, I will say this, and maybe the NASA folks may not like me asking this question, but I think it's important. You as a customer, as a paying customer, because you are a paying customer.
Sure.
What if you had to make some suggestions to us? Okay, to the club, to Jim, okay, to NASA in general, how to improve things. Tell me, what would you do, or do you have any suggestions? Maybe you don't have any, but that's fine too.
Let's run more in the winter.
Yeah, winter is prime time down here because it's snowing up north, so all the tracks are pretty much booked in. So everybody's fighting for that unbelievable track time. So we do have a next event coming up at Homestead. I don't know if you'll be joining us, but the more we run, the better, right, for us guys. Well, thank you very much, Stephen.
All right,
I thank you very much. Enjoy. We'll see you in the next event. And again, if you have any questions, please let us know. All right, take care. All right, just like I promised you guys, this guy was hard to track down. Mr. Luis Jimenez, he is the head instructor for Florida Region NASA. This guy's in charge for all the instructors. He decides whether you pass, win or lose, if you will. No, I'm only kidding. But we're going to ask him a couple questions. He's going to go into a little detail about basically the instructor program and the different classes, how you move up the classes through our HPD program. Luis, good to have you. So tell us a little bit, very simple explanation. A lot of our guys here want to bring their cars out here. We already talked a little bit to Jim about the cars and that sort of thing. Now, once they come here, they sign up, they do all these things, they're going to want to start out with HPD1, I would imagine. Right. So take us from there and explain to us the procedure.
HPD1 is a great program for all beginners and to get your foot into driving your car on a track. You got a classroom instruction where they'll teach you all the basics and everything you need to be on track. Then we have an instructor that sits with you and he will guide you through everything that needs to happen on the track, being smooth, braking, turning. Then after Group 1, you get a check right into 2, which is the same session, but now you're solo, no instructor, and that's where you get to practice everything you've learned. After you become very efficient and good in 2, then you move into 3, where there's passing anywhere with a point by. Group 1 and 2 is only passing on designated straights. Group 3 prepares you for Group 4, which is now it's a lot faster. There's a lot of cars there, time trials, and this is another step into getting your race license too. So Group 4 is passing anywhere, like in 3, but no point bar required. So there you really have to know what you're doing. And NASA will help you from the beginning, just like I started, to 2, 3, 4 time trials and racing. So it's a great program, a great organization to help you do everything you want safely on the track.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned the classroom. Now, how many classrooms, let's say, if I show up, I'm in UB, I've never done this before, I say, hey, Mr. Jimenez, I have to go to class. How many classes am I going to have today? How many sessions, driving sessions, and how long are they?
You have 4 sessions, and the classes never take away from your driving. They're separate. They're about 20 minutes each. You got a break, you go to the classroom, then you can hang around, do the things you need to do. You can go and ride with somebody else in the car to get a better perspective of the line, or even with your instructor, preferably. So, it's you get a lot of track time.
Oh, fantastic. So, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear that we're not going to jeopardize track time for a classroom. But classroom is also very important because they get to learn a lot of the things. And then, not only that, but also go after your track session and discuss some of the things that you learned or you saw out there on track. Maybe positive things as well as negative things, because let's face it, that's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes.
Correct.
So here's another question I think that people would want to know is basically, are the instructors only available for HPD1, or can you request an instructor for any other class?
Well, normally the instructors are needed at HPD1. Once you graduate from 1 into 2, now you're solo, so that you can drive by yourself and put the things together that you've learned. Sometimes it's needed, to be by yourself. We have instructors available, like on an occasion where Group 2 wants to prepare themselves to go into Group 3. We'll get an instructor in the car before, get them ready, let them know what they need, so then they can get an instruction in Group 3.
All right. So basically, if somebody needs to move up in class, so they do get what's called a check ride, right?
Right.
And then yourself, I've done them, and
Right.
actually did a few today, and then that's how they move up. And then we look for certain items, proficiency, if you will, depending that matches the class, if you will.
Right.
As they move up and develop their skill sets. Now, let's just suppose that somebody comes from another club, or let's say even Europe. I have relatives in Europe that been either racing or driving, and they want to. They say, well, I have so many years experience. How do you handle something like that? What's the procedure?
Okay, they will go ahead and forward their resume, licenses they have, the tracks they've driven, and the type of sessions or events that they've done, if there's passing with point buys or not. And then based on that, we usually will go ahead and put them in a class maybe one step below that, so that we can go ahead and do a check ride to make sure that our regulations and what we're looking for is also the same thing that maybe they have. So that's.
Then I would imagine we'd probably do a check ride to make sure that they're going to be able to fit into the particular class they're requesting, whether it be HPD or racing or time trials or what have you.
Right.
Okay, now one of the things that we had to do this weekend, because it was the first event of the season, we had to go, at least especially the guys that race, with the race cars, we had to go through tech. But there was also tech, okay, for other cars as well. Now, is that an annual tech? Now, if I join NASA, do I have to go through tech every time I come to the event, or can I do an annual tech? How does it work? Just to briefly explain to us.
If you have a car, like a race car or so, you can probably get an annual tech from even the race HPDE. They'll get that for you, the logbook, and you're set. With the street car, you'll go ahead and get it teched whenever you come in, and either you can go to the stations that are approved, like also Performance Thread and all the Map Motorsports and all the others that are on there, and they will do that for free. Take your car, do whatever is needed, or if you feel comfortable, you can do it yourself, fill it out, and bring it to us, or do it here in the morning also.
All right, fantastic. Now, last but not least, we spoke earlier in the segment about different kind of cars that are allowed with Jim and so on and so forth. We touched a little bit briefly on safety equipment. Jim said, well, listen, you can just bring your street car, but basically you need a helmet. What else do you think you need to be able to do this?
Yeah, you need a helmet that's Snell approved within the range. I think now you can get one from 2010 on. You need good tires, good brakes, fresh fluid, batteries tied down, so you can come and enjoy yourself and learn how to drive in any type of car, as long as it just is safety to be on a track. It doesn't have to be that fast, as long as it's a good, dependable car.
Fantastic. Louis, thank you very much for hanging out with us for a little bit, answering our questions. I hope this answers everybody's questions. For those of you that dream about coming out to the racetrack, please come and see us at NASA, Florida region. Louis, Jim, a whole host of others here. As Jim mentioned, we are a family. They're going to be very, very helpful. We'll walk you through this process. There's nothing for you to worry about, and then you guys are going to have a great time. I think Louis, he wants to say one last thing.
Which is very important. Our main concern is safety first, and having fun, and be able to enjoy your car. Even if you've already are driving solo, you can reach out to any of us as instructors. We'll be happy to get in the car with you, answer any questions, or do whatever is needed for you to be happy and enjoy your car safe drive.
That's right. Safety's first, and having fun is second, or something like that. Or maybe if you're safe, you're having fun. But trust me, we always have fun. Well, thank you very much, guys. And listen, next time we're going to talk a little about time trials. At the next event, I think it's going to be at Homestead, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about time trials and racing. For those of you that have an interest in that, joining NASA. Thank you.